Hi guys, welcome back. Guess what we're making today? Well, let's get right to it. Sour cream and cheddar biscuits. They're really good. And you know, they're very similar to a certain Red Lobster restaurant that may or may not have biscuits. I think these are a lot better. Let's get our stuff out and get to work. So we're making these from scratch. First thing we need is 2.5 cups of flour, some milk, baking powder, some cayenne pepper to give it a little kick, garlic powder, cream of tartar, some sharp cheddar cheese. We need sugar, just a little bit, some butter, more than that, sour cream, and the last thing we're going to throw in is some parsley, a little bit, we'll get to that. Into our bowl goes our flour, then our 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of sugar, about a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and if we're very careful, half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, little pinch of salt. That's all our dry ingredients. Grab a fork and kind of combine them all. So let's get to our cutting board. And we need cold butter. So you want it right out of the fridge when you do this. And actually, if you want to cut it up into pieces and put it back in the fridge or freezer, all the better. So I'm kind of chopping these up into quarter pieces. That's a whole stick of butter too, by the way. Into the flour it's going to go. And this is what makes the dough nice and fluffy. So we're going to mix it together with the flour, and then eventually you're going to have to get your hands in there and get dirty because you need to mush it around. You want little pieces of butter about pea size or even smaller. Well, it never works out. I get flat pieces and all sorts of different kinds. You know what? It still works out the way I do it, and it's not perfect. So now our liquid is 3/4 cup of milk and around 1/2 cup of sour cream, along with 1.5 cups-ish of cheddar. And just because I had it shredded, we're going to put in about 1/4 cup of Parmesan. Now what you could do a little different than what I did was you could put the cheese in next and then put in your milk and sour cream. So I'm mixing it up, but it's not coming out super doughy, so I had to put a little extra milk in it. You might have to, I found when I make dough, like pasta dough, I gotta do the same thing. Just because the directions say this will work, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you gotta add a little more, sometimes you gotta put a little less in. Our dough's all mixed, ready to go. So I got a baking sheet with parchment paper, and now we're just gonna spoon it out. This isn't gonna be fancy because, well, I tried using an ice cream scoop. Yeah, it didn't work out. So I find this is much better. Just take a tablespoon and kind of poof it out like that. And into the oven, but wait, we forgot something. We need to make our butter mix. So that's a little more than a teaspoon of chopped parsley. Well, you want it as fine as you can chop. It doesn't have to be perfect either. Now here I made a mistake. This is a learning. I put in a teaspoon of garlic powder, which you're supposed to, but then I put in 1/2 stick of butter. Now, I should have put in more butter, but I also shouldn't have done it with the garlic powder because if you can see, it comes out and the garlic powder didn't exactly dissolve. So I learned something, just melt the butter and then when it's done put in the garlic powder. So just remember that. Here's our dough and we're going to spread our butter mix right on top and get some parsley on top. See, it's got that nice little green look to it. Now the one thing I would do a little different, I still use all the butter, but I kind of mushed down the top just to get more of that butter to stay on the biscuit. So into the oven we're going to go 450. So you're going to want to preheat, and we're going to bake that for between 12 and 15 minutes. Kind of check on it about the 12 to 13 minute mark, just in case. And then when it's done, let it cool for 5 minutes, and then we put it on a plate. There you go. These are real yummy and easy to put together sour cream and cheddar biscuits. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.